Hello and welcome to Baking Lady Tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how to make choux pastry, which is really quick, really simple and very easy and absolutely delicious. You can use it in a wide variety of things, not just profiteroles or eclairs. You can actually add some cheese to it and turn it into a savoury choux ring. Or I'm going to be doing later for my website some little Valentine hearts in choux pastry, just to give the man in your life or lady something very special to have. So the first thing that you're going to need is 250 mils of water, and you're going to place this into a saucepan. 250 mils. You're also going to need 100 grams of either butter or margarine. I'm using butter because I think it's just far nicer. And then we're going to use an Italian pinch of salt and an Italian pinch of sugar. This is just for flavour. An Italian pinch is 3 fingers, so that's an Italian pinch of salt. And now I've got some sugar, and it's an Italian pinch as well. So 3 fingers, and that goes into the water. And then what you need to do is you need to turn the heat on, and you're going to bring this to the boil, because the secret of making choux pastry is to remember the 3 B's. And the 3 B's are, firstly, to boil well, and then to beat well, and last of all is to bake well. So I'm going to let this melt. It takes a few minutes, so what I've done is I've actually got one ready. And this is my mixture. I'm just going to bring it back up to the boil, but as you can see, it has melted. And the very last ingredient, well, second to last ingredient that you need is some flour. I'm using strong white bread flour, and I've put it into some paper just so that I can hold it a little bit easier. And this is the first of your 3 B's. The first of the 3 B's is to boil the water well, and as you can see, it's boiling. As soon as it's boiling, and really boiling like this, tip the whole of the flour into the water and stir vigorously. You can turn the heat off now, but you really want to give this a really good beating. And what this does is it starts to cook out the gluten, and the gluten in the flour gives you elasticity, so it means that your choux buns or your profiteroles or whatever else you do will come together and really rise in the oven, and that's the secret. So I'm going to really boil this. I've boiled it, and I'm going to really beat it. But as soon as it comes together and leaves the sides of the saucepan clean, like it has done now, you need to stop. If you carry on beating at this stage, what will happen is that your mixture will get very heavy and it won't rise really well. So we're going to leave it at that stage, and you need to let this cool down for about 5 to 10 minutes, because if you start adding your very last ingredient, which are your eggs, then it's going to curdle and cook them, and that's really not what you want, because you won't get a lovely rise. So in good old-fashioned Blue Peter tradition, if you remember that from the days of your youth, I've done some here already, and as you can see, it's quite firm at this stage, but I don't know if you can see the steam coming off of it. It has got a lot of heat left in it, so it's not going to cook out the eggs, but what it will do is just make sure that you get a really lovely choux pastry. And my very last ingredient are 4 eggs, and you need to beat these. Now, you might not need all of your eggs, but it's best to have them in case. So it's 4 medium eggs that I'm using. And what you're going to do is you're going to add your eggs a little tiny bit at a time. If you add them too fast, what will happen is your mixture will become very runny and you won't be able to pipe it. So that's my eggs beaten. And as you can see, I'm going to add the eggs a little teeny tiny bit at a time. Give it a really good beat. You're probably using about a teaspoon, maybe half a tablespoon at any point. And then a little bit more. And you're going to need to do this. It probably takes a few minutes, 5 minutes maximum, to get all the egg in. But don't skimp on this. Don't cut corners and try and add it all in one go, because I guarantee that you will get a very limp pastry. So this is your second beat, and this is the beat well, and don't skimp on it. When I was at college, way back 100 years ago, this was the first thing that I learnt to make, And I can remember my tutor saying to me, Sharon, remember the 3 B's, boil, beat and bake your pastry well. So I've remembered, and I still to this day make good choux pastry. I don't like eating it, it's not my favourite, I prefer short crust, but it's fantastic to make and it really is impressive. And once you've got your basic skills down, you can make it and use it and turn it into absolutely anything. And it's one of the things that people are a little bit frightened of, which is why I wanted to show you how to make it today. So, carrying on. I'll show you the consistency you need to get to. It is definitely pipeable. If it is too soft and too wet, then you cannot pipe it and it will just spread on your sheet. The temperature you need to set your oven for a standard gas oven is 200. If you're using a fan oven like I am, then you need to put it on 180. And a lot of people, and me included, will put a small cup of boiling water or a tray in the bottom of the oven, which creates steam, and this also helps your choux pastry to rise. Can you see that this is really lovely and thick? It's going to be a fabulous pastry. I'm going to keep working on this for a few minutes and I'll come back to you as soon as it's ready. So I'll see you soon. Okay, are you back with me? Fantastic. Right, I have got my last little tiny bit of egg. I've had a really good workout. I've definitely burnt some calories, ready for me eating all these lovely choux buns when I finish later. So mix the last little bit in and then I'll show you the finished consistency, what you're trying to achieve. So this last little bit in. And there you have it. There's your choux pastry. Can you see? It will fall off the spoon with a little shake. So that's what you're looking for. Fall off the spoon with a little shake. But this is going to be very easy to pipe and absolutely fabulous. There we go. I've got a piping bag somewhere, hopefully, if I can find it. And I'm going to put our choux pastry into my piping bag. This will make probably about 30 small profiteroles. It will make between 6-8 much larger choux buns, and it'll make probably 12 to 15 eclairs if you make them about 4 inches long. Now, I've got a tray ready. You can either use baking parchment, but I prefer these silicone mats because I don't like to waste money. And then all I'm going to do is cut off the end of the piping bag. I'm going to use a pair of scissors just to do this. And I want it probably about 1 centimetre wide. There we go. And now all I'm going to do is pipe small heart-shaped buns, leaving them about 3 centimetres across. I hope you can see this. And then when they're baked, I'm going to put them with a lovely sauce, which I'll show you on my website later. Just little hearts. But you can also make just simple little choux buns if that's what you want to do. A little trick for you is if you wet your finger and just push down the little dimple on the top, you get a perfect bake, and that is all that there is to it. So I'm going to pop these in the oven, and then when they're finished I'll show you the photographs. The last thing that you need to remember is Once they come out of the oven, just to split them underneath with a small knife to allow the air to escape, and then put them back into the oven for about another 10 minutes on a lower heat. So I would drop it probably to about 120 degrees just to really firm them up. And that's all that there is to it. Happy baking. There's more recipes on my website, and the finished recipe for these Choux little hearts is on www.bakinglady.webs.com. Come back and see me soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.